Hey guys, what's up? It's Dreeked here, and today I'm going to be explaining the meta for you guys. So, as you know, we've gotten a couple days into the season, so I would just show you what people have been running and what I think is most viable inside of this meta. And I do have to give credit to my friend Heaven, who's actually number 2 right now in the Dark Cacao server, so credit to Heaven because he helped me figure out these teams. So anyway, on to the teams. So, as you may see, Shadow Milk is in every single team.
Lily Cookie cannot be silenced or shackled by Shadow Milk.
I lied in my White Lily build video when I said Shadow Milk was cooked because he's not. He's here and we have to deal with him. Going into the first team, ES is benched. Yes. ES is benched, and that's crazy because Eternal Sugar has that 25% damage buff. Why not use her? It's crazy, but still, this is what we have to deal with. All right, going right into the teams. So Silent Salt, starting off, is going to be on a 3-3 build. 3 attack toppings, 3 cooldown toppings, doesn't matter the tart, just has to be 3 and 3. Make sure you have 25% plus damage resist. I have a little bit lower just because I wanted to min-max, that's okay. Make sure to have around like 23 to 24 cooldown. Anything more is more welcome. Here are my toppings for reference. I do have 20 cooldown on toppings, and the rest, here's my biscuit, full damage resist bypass. You could run Tainted if you wanted to. If it's better, you can choose whichever works for you. That's all I have to say about Silent Salt. So just make sure you have 3 and 3. That's all you really need to know. Now for Hollyberry, you're going to want to have damage resist, cooldown, HP. Around 7% cooldown, 7% or more is better. Just damage resist, cooldown, HP, focus, 20% or more. If it's lower promoted, then 25% or more. That's the whole like deal. With Awakened Ancients, if you have a 5A base Ancient and a 4-star plus Awakening, like if it's really, really high promoted, you don't need to hit 25. You can go a little bit lower. Do still aim for that 25% damage resist. Do remember. Anyway, here's Hollyberry's build. You want damage resist, cooldown, HP, and also a full HP biscuit, just so you know. Now for Shadow Milk, you're gonna want to have 25% damage resist, 35 cooldown, and focus the rest of the subsets on attack and crit. And here you can see my biscuit is all damage resist bypass, and that's pretty much it for Shadow Milk. It's going to be the same story for White Lily as well. Full damage resist bypass biscuit, damage resist, cooldown, attack and crit. I also follow the same logic with Hollyberry because my Awakened Lily is 6 stars and 5A. I don't really need, it's not the end all be all that I have a 22.3% damage resist. It doesn't really matter, but still it's good to have more if you want more survivability. Now for Marshmallow Bunny, that's actually the wrong build. You're going to want to be using a 35 cooldown build. I just wanted to use a little bit extra amp buff because people might not have all the costumes. If you have all the costumes, you can replace the amplify buff topping with another crit topping because I just think crit is just better. Here is the Marshmallow Bunny build. You're going to want to have upwards, I think 18.5% or more amplify buff if you have most of the costumes. Make sure to have more than 20%. Just try and get all the buffs. See on Marshmallow Bunny's skill, they need 25% for 2 egg bunnies. I have 23. It's a little bit lower because I have a legendary costumes. Those do count, just so you know. So look at how many legendary costumes you have, and you can sub in even the amplify buff topping for another crit topping. So just make sure you're aware of that. Make sure you have at least 25% amplify buff. Do add on the costume effect to that. And yes, this is it for this team. So you're gonna want to run the White Lily leader. You want to run the monocle, tube, and watch. So when you're using this comp, you want to realize that this is the standard comp, right? You can use this one pretty much anywhere, but you do need to be careful that you're not going to be baited into hitting an old standard comp. Like this one here. See? Hollyberry rally effect. That's no good. You don't want to hit that because this old standard comp from last season actually does beat this team, but not many people are running it. So that's an interesting tidbit that I had to drop. So as you can see, 1-2-2, we can hit it. Because of the way that this team is built, you may think that the 1-2-2 is made to counter this, but with the way that we built the standard team, it is actually quite the opposite. Because of Silent Salt running 3-3 and is on that specific cooldown, it is going to be quite the opposite. Because of the amount of sheer damage that your Silent Salt is going to do. Or maybe not. Actually, yeah. There you go. See? Silent Salt's gonna die off, but still, you can bait people into hitting you 121 million damage.
Wow, man. Damn.
See? 121 million damage straight into this other team. 105 million Doyle doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter, right? With this team, you can hit with the setup that I have. You can probably try and hit other people who run this team. You can try. It might not work, but with the way I think I set it up, I think that this is able to work consistently against PVs. Not consistently. Like, it will work against PVs. Probably not consistently, but we'll have to see. Because you never know. To be the true standard comp, it does have to work everywhere, so we're going to have to figure that out as well. But I think the pure damage output from Silent Salt is making it proper. And White Lily as well. Come on, Shadow Milk. There we go, see? That's 3 PV comps beaten in a row. That's honestly a way to know that, hey, PV comp probably don't run it on defense because PV comp is going to be countered really easily, as you can see from the standard comp. But when you're mirroring a standard comp, that is when you do want to think about using PV team. Yes, I know, it may seem counterproductive, but still, the way that some people build their PV teams, it could be the way that they build them that makes them ineffective. So I'm going to show you why and how I build my PV team so that it does actually counter the standard team. For Hollyberry, she's just going to be running the same stuff. Doil here, around 9+ cooldown, damage resist, crit, HP. Here's all my toppings and substats. What you're gonna wanna run on the Biscuit is full HP. If you do have a 3 HP, 1 cooldown, you can run that as well. I don't mind, but still, you wanna make sure you have a lot of damage resist. I only have 24%, which is fine because my Doil is 5A. It doesn't really matter, but still, you do want to realize that you might wanna have more if your Doil is promoted. And it is fine if you do run the 3 HP, 1 cooldown. Just make sure you get 15% cooldown if you do run that. So, and then Doil will also be taking the tube along with Hollyberry. So for Shadow Milk, same build as last time. White Lily did not mean be on cooldown there. Same build as last time. And Pure Vanilla is going to be running damage resist, cooldown, attack on the toppings. You can also run a little bit of HP as well. You might have to make sure your Pure Vanilla is higher on the HP than White Lily. You want to know the difference? 90 for me. You do want to make sure Pure Vanilla has the higher HP than Hollyberry. Not than Hollyberry, than White Lily. This is how I set up my comp. And these are the treasures. I did Whistle, Tube, and Watch. The 2 Whistle buffs needs to be on White Lily and Shadow Milk. I'd be concerned if it was on anyone else. And Tube needs to be on Doil and Hollyberry. PV is just going to be there to tank everything, apparently. Only fight monocles. If you fight Whistle and Tube, you're probably going to lose because of the sheer damage output. But if you fight monocle standard, it should be enough to win with the sheer amount of healing that your Doil is going to do. Watch. The sustainability of the way that this comp is built. Okay. Come on. See how no one's dropping their HP below 50%? Now here we are at 30-second mark. Skills. Line up. The entire other team. See, the team that I was using to beat the team that I'm running right now, look, doesn't matter. Their White Lily got shut down, not doing 100 million plus. You still win, see? You win with the right builds. It's going to be one of those seasons again. You win with the right builds. If you don't run the right builds, you're probably going to lose. In theory, I'll show you, this comp does counter this comp, but some people, it really doesn't matter. They could beat each other. Also, you know, if you don't have Silent Salt, also, you're probably going to need to run this comp. They could beat each other. It really matters on what the other person is running. And see here, even, that is probably going to be a different comp that I'll go over in a little bit, but still here's another PV comp. You can mirror, but why mirror if you can just scam it down, right? Here's a comp without Shadow Milk, finally, for those of you who don't want to run Shadow Milk. So this is Scam, right? We're going out for the max damage output with Scroll, Whistle, and Vial, and using the White Lily leader effect, because White Lily is the only one who can have a leader effect on this team. But now, going into the toppings, Silent Salt's going to be running the same stuff. ES is going to be on 25% damage resist, cooldown, attack. Just make sure you do damage resist, cooldown, attack on the toppings, and Biscuit's going to be full damage resist bypass. I'm sorry that my Biscuit is terrible. It's not that good. It's not 50 plus, but still it will work. I'm focusing my Radiance on Guild Battle. Make sure also, White Lily is going to be on a 3-3 build, similar to Silent Salt, but you do want to make sure her cooldown is more than 22.3%, I think, to get a 3-second start on White Lily. Make sure you have that. Just make sure you have 22.3% plus cooldown when you're running a split build 3-3. Also, she's running the damage resist bypass Biscuit as well, so do keep that in mind. Fire Spirit, same build. You want cooldown, attack, and crit. Full on, just focus all that on toppings on an attack crit. Full damage resist bypass. If you do have a Tainted Fire, see how mine is just not good at all? You can run Tainted Fire, but I just prefer the damage resist bypass since this one is just arguably better than this. That's just not good. So we're just gonna run this damage resist bypass Biscuit on Fire Spirit to make sure that he can just nuke down everyone after he does his skill twice. And Marshmallow Bunny's actually going to be running, not that. You need Marshmallow Bunny Cookie on a 4-second cooldown. Not a 3-second, a 4-second. And if you don't have all the costumes, make sure you do put an Amplify buff topping on this build as well. So you can have have the Marshmallow Bunny cookie at 4 seconds while having all the buffs be applied. So again, what I said about the costumes earlier, make sure you're adding that up. That's pretty much going to be it for this whole team. You're gonna want to make sure Marshmallow Bunny does have the amplify buff stat. Like I think the number is for every costume is around like 18%. It should be like 18%. That should be it for Marshmallow Bunny. That's going to be it. For start cooldowns, you want 1 second Silent Salt, into 2 second Eternal Sugar, into 3 second White Lily, into 4 second Fire Spirit, into 4 second Marshmallow Bunny. Let's go on and see how damage can just overpower sustainability. So as you can see, Silent Salt's going to go. Holly Berry's going to push everyone back. Fire Spirit's going to go. Marshmallow Bunny, then White Lily. Everyone goes, right? Fire Spirit dies. The entire team just gets leaps down. And then Shadow Milk, the last one surviving, dies out. It's always also going to end with your White Lily and Silent Salt staying alive in the end. And see, they both do the most damage, with White Lily obviously leading. As you can see, the skill rotations for this comp are key, as you really want to just one cycle the enemy. And all the other damages are low. Shadow Milk does 8 million only. No one does really much healing. It doesn't really matter that much. Now, looking again, here's another PV comp. You can scam it. Scam only works against PV though. You only want to use it against PV. Because every other comp will, you see, and even sometimes your Fire Spirit will just live sometimes. But still, Holly Berry did more healing than Doyle. White Lily did more healing than Doyle. So that's just kind of funny to actually just visualize, right? It's really funny. Even if you see someone running old standard too, like you look, actually, this one is probably going to be not old standard because Shadow Milk is right there. It's not going to be old standard. But if you do see people running old standard, like I know the number 1 right now, Darren, is running old standard, you can scam old standard. It works against old standard. You see PV, you see 1-2-2, you see Holly Berry in front, you press the button, it scams. PV has so many different counters. It is a weak team, but it can be strong if you build it the right way. That's all I have to say. And see? Wow. Oh, go Silent Salt. Oh, never mind. White Lily's got it. 60 million damage. There you go. Doing everything. As you can see on the other team, fully maxed out PV comp, probably just didn't build it the right way and was able to get scammed. But still, scam should be countering PV all the time. That really should be the way it goes. For the first 3 teams, these are the teams with White Lily. There are 2 teams on my 4 and 5 slot that do not have White Lily, but before we do that, I'm going to show the way that you're supposed to do. If you're going to use scam, look out for PV. If you're fighting with scam, look. You see Holly Berry? Holly Berry in the front, you can fight it with scam. Make sure it has tube and whistle, and you should be good to go. If you're going to be fighting around with PV, look out for not this. Be careful. Look out for people, not even that either. Look out for people even with the standard comp. Look out for standard comp. Watch out for scam. You can mirror people with PV as well, but I'm not sure how well that will go. PV honestly could be more of a defense team. Look out for scam with PV. And fighting standard, you do want to look out for PVs with standard. You can fight lower promoted PVs, just you got to watch out for your promo. That's all I have to say. These 3 teams, all good. But now for the 4th team, it's just old standard. It doesn't have Awakened White Lily, right? Why is old standard good, you see? Because it counters PV comp and it also counters the standard comp. So old standard actually counters teams 1 and 2. And I'll show you why. Because of the sheer output of damage from these cookies. And I'll show the builds right after because I accidentally went into the battle. Whoopsie. But as you can see, the sheer output of damage from all these cookies, even though the targeting is wrong, just the damage output from Silent Salt with the ES damage boost. See, their entire team is just getting wiped. Now it's only Holly Berry and Shadow Milk left. And that's when you just win the battle. So, a bit unconventional the way that I introduced this team, right? You know, it is really just old standard, right? So many people doing all sorts of damage. ES doing 51 million damage, absolutely carrying and showing that she isn't out of the meta yet. How I did that damage is by having Silent Salt on full Raspberry. As you can see, damage resist, cooldown, attack, and crit all the way. You want to have 7+ cooldown and a full damage resist bypass biscuit. Holly Berry, same build. ES was on cooldown, 35 cooldown, 25+ damage resist. Even on the lesser damage resist bypass biscuit, ES still did 50 million damage and was absolutely carrying the team. Doyle was on the same build and Shadow Milk was on the same build. That's really it for this team. You know, you really want to make sure that you have that 2-second Silent Salt. Even though you don't have 1 second, that's why you have to watch out for the other teams, because this will die to scam because of the 2-second Silent Salt. And Holly Berry is also going to be doing damage due to the rally effect and the tube. So just make sure you look out for scam teams and also watch out for other stuff as well. See, like even here, this could be an old standard team. we're actually gonna fight it and find out. Nope, it was actually someone just baiting, which is something you can do. See how this person, it's Ed. See how they did this? They put Hollyberry Rally Effect and Whistle on to confuse other people, to make sure that, to make it seem like they weren't running the new standard team with Shadow Milk. You can figure this out by looking at the power, although it may not work 100%, but just always make sure to be careful. It's not guaranteed when you see the White Lily Rally Effect that it's going to be a Shadow Milk team. So now, should be able to win this even without Awakened White Lily, but it could also be a stat difference. That is something you do have to realize. Well, come on, there we go. So this is really, use this at your own risk. Use the old standard comp at your own risk. It could be Doyle healing 85 million difference. It could be Hollyberry doing more damage than Eternal Sugar. You really got to realize that using old standard can still work. If you don't have Awakened White Lily, you can push and you can beat these Shadow Milk teams that are popping up everywhere. Speaking of countering the standard team, there is another team that I actually saw in my revenge log. I don't know who it belonged to. I forget, but I managed to reverse engineer it, and it actually does not have Awakened White Lily or Silent Salt, surprisingly. It actually uses an epic green Tea Mousse cookie. As you can see here, it's cursed, right? It looks like something that would come straight out of the meta from 2 seasons ago, even before Silent Salt came out. Look, Awakened White Lily and Silent Salt are both benched. You see that? It's crazy, right? But the reason why is because green Tea Mousse got a magic candy, and that magic candy is really, really, really good. Resistance to healing reduction, stuns regular enemies, and it's just healing. More healing. And even with the grass damage, don't even use White Lily. We use pure vanilla cookies buff, and make sure you are using PV's buff on team 2. I don't think I mentioned that, but you do need to use that for team 2. For this team, again, let's get into the builds. So Hollyberry here is going to want to be on the same exact build as last time. Green Tea Mousse, you're going to want to be on, just focus on damage, just cooldown, HP. I'd really have a lot of dead substats because I'm using my peanuts absolutely everywhere. I don't have enough peanuts for this meta. I need to roll some more. And on her biscuit, you're really going to want to have just cooldown, 2 lines of cooldown, 2 lines of damage resist. So around, like, let's say 19 to 20% cooldown, 40 damage resist plus, and a lot of HP, so that she does take the tube is going to be on Hollyberry and Green Tea Mousse. So now for Eternal Sugar, same build as the old standard. You're going to want to have the 35 cooldown build. Shadow Milk's just going to be running the same build the entire video, so just copy that off. And Pure Vanilla is going to have the same build from the team 2. So to actually be able to use this team, I'm actually going to have to wait another 9 seconds for my refresh. You're only going to want to fight this standard team. I'm actually going to set it as my defense. I've actually been trolling on my defense. Sorry, I'm running old standard. So I'm going to set it as my defense. Hold on, where is save teams? Arena attackers 1. Plug it in, hide 2 cookies, and then practice. So I'll show you that the Green Tea Mousse team actually does work when fighting myself, because it does counter this. There goes Green Tea being a tank. Remember that Mystic update? And also, if you're here still watching the arena video, I appreciate you. So I will be hearting comments that have Mousse all in caps. Oh, I've been saying Mousse. I just remembered it's Mousse. It's Green Tea Mousse. But 100 to 0'd with no Silent Salt or White Lily. So that's kind of crazy, right? 30 million healing from Green Tea Mousse. I'm saying it right now. 54 million damage from ES. She does not want to die out yet. And that does prove that every team is beatable that I showed. I'll go over all the teams again. So team 1, standard. You can beat pretty much, if you can just throw it against anything, it's probably going to be around like a 70% win rate if you build it right. And if your promos are low, it probably won't work against absolutely everything. So do keep that in mind. Now for team 2, you're going to want to hit mainly not scam. Scam, no one should be running scam on defense. You're going to want to hit probably, this is another team that you're going to probably hit around with. Make sure you know what beats what. Figure out how high promoted your team is, and like what's the maximum amount of promos you can use to beat. This team's just also generally good around if you're going to be fighting people on defense against other teams, like people who are running not people who are running Whistle, people who are running Eat and See. People are even losing to my defense because I was trolling them with old standard. And see, prime example number 1, do not hit this against old standard. it will boost. You can hit it against even mirror match. You could even hit it against this, probably not actually with whistle. You're probably going to lose. But if your team is built well enough, you could run this on defense, and it is also a pretty solid attacking team if you want to attack standard teams as well. Just be careful when mirroring as well. Make sure your promos are high enough to fight the person. If not, then you can obviously use scam to beat any PV team. Just make sure this is the right timings are. Just make sure you have the right timings. That's all I have to say about this. Now, old standard can be this team and this team, but do be careful about your defense. Make sure you do not set this as your defense because it is just free food for scam. And for team 5, it is just honestly really a troll team, but it does end up working. So if you don't have plus 30 green tea mousse, sorry. If you don't have plus 30 green tea mousse, I wouldn't even recommend trying it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So I'm sorry if I'm talking a little fast. I am a little bit sick right now. So thank you for watching me yap about the arena. Any questions you may have, let me know. Join my Discord server as well. Here are all the 5 teams. I will be making other videos per team if there are new teams released, and I will be explaining more stuff as well. So do make sure you subscribe, obviously. Again, shout out to my friend Heaven for helping me out as well. And good luck in the arena. Wish you guys luck and hope to see you on my Discord server. Goodbye.